All right, let's go to work. Get your Bibles. Get your Bibles. Go to John 21. John 21. We'll work on that, Jimmy. I hadn't worked on that sermon yet. John 21. Now we're tying a knot on our walk with Jesus through John today, so you can use your Bible if you like. I'd prefer that you not use it. I'd prefer you just do it from your heart, but if you got to peek. When I started, I don't know studying, preparing for these lessons, I wrote down in my notes, I put me and Jesus, because it just struck me that John is Jesus meeting all these different people, and I noticed that when I would really get into those people, that a whole lot of times it sounded just like me. So I thought, me and Jesus is a good name. And then I found that verse, remember that day we found it? That Jesus gives one blessing after another. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to tell me one of the people, one of the moments, one of the situations. You pick the word. Jesus with one of these people that was the most blessing to you. Which one of these folks, which one of these events, which one of these moments was best for you? And I'm going to let you talk. And if you don't talk, we'll just be here a long time. Which person sounded the most like you?
Are we going like the stories of his life?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Mine would be the lady that was crying and washing his feet with her tears and drying with her hair, because you could feel the pain that she had, and how much Jesus lifted her back up out of that pain.
Yeah. It's interesting, Darla, in the first meeting, somebody mentioned the same thing and mentioned that that's how she felt about herself, because she had made such a mess of things. She said, I just felt like my head was always down. And I thought about you, because remember how you want to cover up. You just don't want, and if you look up to see who's looking at you, who's judging you, who's after you. And Jesus takes up for the lady. I love that. Which person in John that Jesus met is most like you? And you're thinking now, which one of these stories are in John? I'll let you peek if you need to.
I like the man born blind, because one of the things that always struck me about that is the disciple said something to the effect of, who sinned? Did he do it? Is he being punished? And Jesus replied back, neither. It's because, I forget the exact words, so that the kingdom of God can be fulfilled if you see me. Anyway, because a lot of times people will ask in my life and others, you're being punished. That's not necessarily true. And I know that's not the point of the lesson, but it's a point of the lesson that sticks out to me.
Good. Which person?
Just because I grew up in the church, LTC, and learning everything, and I thought that there was learning about the Bible. Oftentimes I feel like I was Nicodemus, thinking I know everything, thinking I'm so smart, thinking I'm way up here. Just a bomb on me, what I didn't expect, or here's a lesson that you thought you knew, but here's what it really means.
Yeah, good point. A lot of us that grew up going to church find ourselves in that situation, right? We know all the verses, can quote them all. In fact, we've had prepare sermons for all of them. And what we forget is there's something beyond our knowledge. There's supposed to be something called a new birth take place. Last call. Which one of the situations?
My first thought was similar to that, but like when Jesus was washing their feet, being one of his disciples that wants to do right and is like, no, you don't do that, and still not getting it. And once he corrects him, he still doesn't get it. That I'm not sure where we're going with this. I don't know how to do everything. I don't get what's going on. Okay, so I missed it. So let's go the extreme the other way. Like, no, okay, watch everything then. Like,
Yeah.
get rid of it. Just missing the point the other way.
Good. I watched Jesus tell those first two disciples to come on. I want you to be with me. And I thought, that sounds like me. And then there was Nicodemus, and I grew up the same way Tyler did. I quote all the verses. Didn't necessarily know and understand what it really means to be born again. Oh, I knew the doctrines, I knew the verses, but it's something supposed to change inside me that hadn't changed inside me. The woman at the well. I didn't have those experiences back then, 5 husbands. But I know something about being tired. I know something about being thirsty. Whether it was the lame man or the blind man, I saw myself in those. Obviously, the lady in John 8. Guilty, deserved to be punished, deserved judgment. And what did Jesus do? He didn't judge her. He didn't condemn her. And I tell you what, it sticks with me even now that Jesus didn't take the crowd side. He didn't join the crowd against her, because typically when you mess up and you've messed up, now if you grew up going to church, you messed up the same as anybody else messed up, but nobody knew it, right? But when you mess up outside, when you mess up publicly, when you mess up where people know it, what's that like? What's the difference? What's the difference in feeling? When you've messed up privately and nobody knows about it and you're not about to say anything, or you mess up where everybody knows about it. What's the difference?
Public humiliation.
The humiliation that comes from the public. And Jesus did not join the crowd. Jesus didn't join the crowd to condemn her. And second of all, he didn't condemn her, which is the best. But I love the last one. He didn't give up on her. He said, you messed up. Go on your life and don't do that again. Well, John 21. John 21. You got your Bibles? John 21 is one of my favorites. And I must be allergic to somebody today. Hensley. Yep. Sorry, baby, that your mama pointed you when she said that. Tyler would never do that. He would never say that. He's an angel, yes. Got your Bible? John 21. Now read. Don't wait on me to do it. Read. Where's Peter? Where's Peter? John 21.
Doesn't say. It says where he's about to go.
All right. I want you to read on. Where's Peter? He's going fishing is where he's going, right? That's where he is. He's on the Sea of Galilee. He's going fishing.
Going
Who's
back
with
to where
him?
he's comfortable.
Who's with him?
Thomas, Nathaniel.
And it's good that you didn't say, well, all the disciples, because are all the disciples with him?
Doesn't say there.
No. Read the names. There's Thomas,
Nathaniel, and the sons of
Nathaniel, yeah.
James and John.
And then 2 other disciples. Doesn't even name them. I don't know who they were. But he said, I'm going fishing. And they said, we'll go with you. Tell me why he's going fishing. Now, again, you're just speaking from your own heart because the text doesn't say.
Because that's what he's comfortable with.
That's what he's used to doing. That's what he's done all of his life, right? Does he know Jesus is alive? Does he know Jesus is alive? Y'all are. This is not one of those deep theological questions, Ralph. Does he know Jesus is alive? Yes. Jesus appeared to him, remember? In that room, remember? The first evening. After he saw Mary Magdalene went and told him, and they ran. Remember? And then Thomas saw him the next time, and Peter was there. So Peter has seen him alive, right? So why is he going fishing?
We all have that thing that we need to do so we think better.
Maybe he needs to think. Why did he go fishing, Mike?
I think that's where he felt the most comfortable and probably where he does a lot of thinking.
Right? He went back to work. Folks, has Jesus told him what to do yet? For 3.5 years, everything Peter did, he did because Jesus said, here, I want you to go do this. I want you to follow me to do this. Is Jesus alive? Yes. But has Jesus spent any time with Peter explaining what he wants Peter to do? No. So he goes fishing. What happens? Read the text. Tell me what happens. Nothing. They fished all night and caught nothing. This is not the first time you're going to hear this, right? What kind of fishermen were these guys? Every time they go fishing, they catch nothing.
Not a fish.
They should have thought of some other kind of line of work, man. They can catch fish. The only time they caught fish is when Jesus showed up, right? And there may be reason for that. All right. So they fished all night, caught nothing. And then this fella stands up the beach. He's standing on the shoreline, and he hollers, "Hey, did you guys catch any fish?" All right. Now, think about it. Is that an odd question to ask a bunch of fishermen? Not if you're them. I need you to think real. Who would meet fishing boats at the shoreline? Other fishermen. Somebody that's picking up groceries for their kids, right? They're going to have breakfast. They got to go get some fish at the market, right? Or whatever. And so you'd holler, "Did y'all catch any fish?" If they caught some fish, I'll wait for you to come in, then I'll buy some of your fish, right? They said, "No, we didn't catch any fish." So he says, "Throw your net over on the other side." Now, hang on. Is he still dressed like a gardener? I don't know. But they don't know it's Jesus yet. And it's not because he has changed his appearance, y'all. They're 100 yards away. How do I know that? How do I know that? How do I know they were 100 yards away? Yeah, too easy. How do I know they're 100 yards away? You guys have gotten...
Verse 8.
What does it say?
Verse 8 says, "For they were not far from shore, about 100 yards."
All right, they were not far from shore, 100 yards. Now, 100 yards for us, Americans. What do we think of?
Football field.
Football field, right? Now, somebody's 100 yards away from you. You're in a boat. There's sun shimmering off the water and stuff. Can you recognize who it is? No. And since Jesus didn't glow in the dark, they couldn't have told by the halo. So they don't know who it is. And then he says, "Throw your nets over on the other side." What do they do?
Look at each other.
Now, I love this. What do they do? They did it. You know what? You know what some of us would have done? I'm tired. I'm going to give up.
What difference does that make? It's just 3 feet different.
Yeah, there's no. I mean, why? That's not going to help any. That'd be a jig of different. We, how many of you are associated with them or have knowledge of a man who gets behind the wheel of a car and gets lost but won't stop and ask for directions? Now, you can't say any names, but boy, I tell you what, I've known a ton of them. And it's like the kind of thing where somebody gives you other directions, all of a sudden you start getting defensive. Why get defensive? You didn't catch any fish, so what's it going to hurt to try the other side, right? So they tried the other side. Brad.
I might do it in, like, as proof that you don't know what you're talking about. Fine, I'll do it on this. I'll show you that I can't.
Yeah, you might your defensiveness might be a little passive aggressive. Yeah, okay, I'll do it. And then, but what happened when they threw the nets over to the other side? What happened?
Got what?
Look at the text. What they do?
They were unable to haul it back in.
They caught so many fish they couldn't haul it back in. Right. That's when the disciple whom Jesus loved said,
It is the Lord.
"Hey, it's the Lord." Now, I don't know if he said it out loud, or real loud or not, but when Peter heard it, what did he do? Now, stay in the text. You need to tell me what Peter did. What did Peter do?
Right.
Jumped in the water.
Wrapped his garment around.
He wrapped his garment around it. Hang on. If you're going to jump in the water to swim, do you put your clothes on? No, you take your clothes, right? You don't put on a dress. You don't put on a robe, right? To jump in the water.
I mean, you do if you think you're not going to get back in the boat.
That may be it.
Maybe he thought he was going to walk on water.
And you laugh, but that's exactly what I think. The last time Peter saw Jesus outside of the boat he was in, what happened? He walked on water. I think he thinks,
I'll try it again and keep my eyes on him.
I'm not going to take my eyes off of him. That's exactly. So he puts his coat on, jumps out, and then sinks, and has to swim. How far?
100 yards.
Okay, swim 100 yards. 100 yards wearing a robe. You think he regretted putting that robe back? I don't know. But he's swimming for shore, right? They start pulling in the fish. They can't get it in the boat, so they've got to drag the net in. How many fish? Look at the text, it tells you. 153. Now, if you ask a bunch of Texans who went fishing, oh, yeah, we caught about 300 big ones, yeah. They caught 153 large fish. When they got to the shore, show it to me, find it. When they got to the shore, what did they see?
Fire.
Jesus cooking some fish.
With fish.
Jesus, there's a fire, there's some fish. Jesus must have already caught some. And some bread. And Jesus says, bring some of the fish you caught. Let's have breakfast. Break your fast. Tell me what you just learned about Jesus. What did you just learn about Jesus?
He was always in, and no matter when he showed up and the miracles he did and everything, he always included with his disciples the normalcy of living your life, which that would be breakfast, eating,
Excellent.
warming up around the fire after you just swam in a rub across the thing. You know, maybe
Very
he knew.
good.
Maybe he knew that's what Peter would do. So he thought, I better get a fire going so he'll be warm.
Very good, very good.
And the bread was there. They didn't bring the bread, so he had prepared to serve them again.
Ah. Does he care that they're hungry? They fished all night. They're hungry. They're tired. So what does he do for them? He serves them.
Care their needs.
Are these the same guys that betrayed him? Are these the same guys that denied him? Are these the same guys that deserted him? I'll let you pick the word. Yeah. Judas is gone, but the rest of them are here. And in this situation, there's this handful. And they get there and eat this breakfast. And then when they finish eating, Peter and Jesus go for a walk. Somebody tell me why Peter was so eager to jump in the water. Whether he thought he was going to swim and he wasn't going to be at the boat again, so he was going to bring his robe, or whether he thought he was going to walk on water. Why was he in such a rush?
Perhaps he wanted to apologize for doing the betrayal that he swore he wouldn't do.
You think Peter's got something he needs to say? You think Peter's got some apologies, some amends to make? Now, has he seen Jesus? Yes. He's seen Jesus twice. Now he's seen him a third time. But this time they go for a walk. What do you think Peter wants to discuss? And the text doesn't say, so I need your heart to speak. What would you want to talk about? Lord, I know I told you I wouldn't, and then you told me I did and would, and I did, and I'm so sorry. Last time Jesus saw Peter before Jesus died was? Yeah. When he denied Jesus the third time, the rooster crows, Jesus turns and looks at him, and Peter, my old Bible says he wept bitterly. I mean, he's broken. So now he's walking with Jesus. What does he want to do? Give me words again. What's he want to do? Apologize? Give me another word. He wants to reconcile. He wants to make amends. He wants to
proclaim how much he loves him.
He wants him to know, I really do love you in spite of how I acted.
Maybe
he's seeking forgiveness.
Maybe he's wanting affirmation that it's going to be okay.
Is everything going to be okay, Jesus? Is everything going to be okay? They go for a walk. Jesus says, Peter, do you love me? Peter says, yes, Lord. You know I love you. Now hang on. If you get real smart and you around people that know a lot of stuff, they'll say there are two different words here. One is the word, do you love me? And it's the God kind of love word that's a decision. It's not an emotion. And then, but Peter answers, yes, Lord, you know I love you. And it's I love you. It's a strong like. It's like, I really do like you. That may be the case. That may be the case. And maybe there's reason to pay attention to that. I'm not for sure we have to go that far and have to understand that much to get the point of this lesson. Jesus says, Peter, do you love me? I've taught you this, so tell me. Why does Jesus ever ask a question?
Because we need the answer.
Say it again.
We need the answer.
We need the answer. We need the answer. Does Jesus know that Peter loves him? Yes. But Peter needs to hear himself say he loves him. And then Jesus says, what does it say? Feed my lambs. Then Jesus says again, Peter, do you love me? And Peter responds, yes, Lord, you know I like you. Hang on. Who needs to hear this? Peter needs to hear himself say this. And then Jesus says what? Take care of my sheep. Now then the third time. And when he asked him the third time, what does it say, Peter? Peter, do you love me? And this time he changes the words. Peter, do you like me a lot? And Peter says, it says about Peter what? What does it say? He was hurt. Was it because he changed the words? Maybe. Is there any other reason he might have been hurt or felt funny about or upset by the fact that Jesus asked it the third time?
Maybe it didn't sound like being implying that he didn't believe.
Maybe.
He knows very well that he denied him 3 times.
He denied him 3 times, so maybe he's given him a chance to say 3 times. I don't know. When you get to heaven, you can ask Peter if you want to. But I know this. Peter needed to hear the answer, yes, Lord, you know I love you. That's why Jesus asks questions, is so we'll know the answer. And then Jesus says, feed my sheep. Okay, now, tell me what you learned. What do you know about Jesus? Don't talk to me about Peter yet. Tell me what you know about Jesus. Here's the man that denied him. Here's the man that swore that he would die before he would deny Jesus. Here's the man, here's the one man that stood up for him and took out his sword and went to whacking at people when they came to get him. Here's the one man that was, I will never deny you. I'll die before I deny you. And then he denied him 3 times. And Jesus walking with Peter on the beach teaches me what?
That Jesus knows each one of us, and Jesus knew what conversation Peter needed for Peter to understand. Each one of us is different, so Jesus knows each one of us how we learn. That's how Peter needed to learn.
It's kind of a flip where you don't have to worry about once lost, always lost.
There you go. Mark it. Remember it. Whatever you've done, however bad you've done it, does Jesus still accept you? Does Jesus accept you where you are, wherever you are? Right? You messed up? You messed up, you don't know what you're going to do, you just don't have any idea what the Lord thinks about you. And then He fixes you breakfast and takes you for a walk on the beach. Nobody else may want to eat with you. Nobody else may want to spend time with you. Nobody else may have any interest in how you're doing. What will Jesus do? What will Jesus do?
Spend time.
He wants to be with you. He'll accept you. He will spend time with you. Now, second, what else do I learn about Jesus? What else do I learn about Jesus?
Well, that's a given that he doesn't want to lose Peter. He doesn't want to lose.
Yeah, that's right. And we're going to make the final point there. But there's one step before that. He wants to give you a chance to do what? Can Peter undo the denial? And it may be since none of us have ever sinned publicly and made ourselves feel ashamed, maybe it's not connected with us. But if you've ever sinned publicly, if you've ever sinned in a way that got everybody's attention, you know what Jesus is giving him a chance to do? To make sure everything's okay with him. I don't know what anybody else will think, but does Jesus want Peter, listen to my question, does Jesus want Peter to know that everything is okay? Peter needs to know it, but who wants him to know it? Does Peter have to apologize 3 times? Does Jesus have to say, Peter have to say, I love you 3 times for Jesus to know it? No, this is nothing about doing something for Jesus. It's Jesus doing it for Peter. What does Peter need Jesus to do?
That's himself.
Yeah, Peter, you love me. Yes, you love me. Yes, you love me. One more. One accepts him. 2, He gives him a chance to make things right, though he can't undo it. Number 3. What's the third thing? What does Jesus say all 3 times?
Take care of the sheep.
I got a job for you, young man. You've got a purpose. You still have a job. You still got a mission. You still got reason to keep working because I need you to take care of my whose sheep? Whose sheep?
His sheep.
His sheep. His sheep. And what is Jesus saying to Peter? What is Jesus saying to Peter? I need you to help me work with them to take care of them, right? I need you to do for them what I just did for you. So what did he just teach Peter? What did I just learn about Jesus? If you mess up, if you really, really mess up,
It's not just that he was forgiven, it's that, like, he's useful.
he's not just forgiven. He's not just had a chance to make amends. Everything's going to be all right. He also has a purpose for him. He still has a mission for him. He still can be useful to him. Then Jesus is going to tell him, Jesus is going to say, Peter, when you were young, you walked where you wanted to, did what you wanted to, however you wanted to. I'm telling you, one of these days they're going to tie your hands up in front of you and they're going to lead you where you don't want to go. He was telling him that to prepare him for the manner of death he was going to suffer. Why would he do that? Why would he do that? Why would Jesus let him in on that? Why would Jesus tell him that, teach him that? Why does Jesus want him to know? Why does Jesus want him to know what he's going to face? Why? Why does he have any concern?
Because that's what he had promised before the denial. Peter had said that I will go to my death for you. Jesus is telling him, hey, you're going to fulfill that for me.
So is Jesus telling him, you know how you felt before? You're going to have to be prepared because it's coming. Why does he want him prepared? That's how he was going to glorify God. Right? Jesus wants him to know that at the end of his life, he's going to be able to do what he said he would do back there in the upper room. He's going to get to die for Jesus. And that's going to glorify God. All right. And then, one of the last 2 words that it's not the last 2 words, but it's some of the last 2 words Jesus is going to speak to Peter before Jesus goes on back to glory. It's what? Follow me. The same words he heard, remember that day they went fishing? The first time they hadn't caught any fish and Jesus had them catch so many fish it almost sank 2 boats. What did Jesus tell them then? Follow me. When Peter wanted to keep Jesus from going to the cross and Jesus had to call him Satan, get behind me, Satan, Jesus says, if you're going to be my disciple, you got to deny yourself daily and pick up your cross daily and follow me. Now Jesus says it again. Peter, follow me. So Jesus says to Peter the very same thing he said to anybody who ever wanted to follow him. Come on, follow me. Follow me. Folks, I don't know what's going to happen with viruses. I'm sure tired of messing with this one. I don't know what's going to happen with protests or riots. I don't know what's going to happen with elections. Got no idea. I know some folks who think they know. And you can fill your brain full of that stuff if you want to. But you know what Jesus wants you to do? Today. What does Jesus want you to do today? Say it out loud. Follow me. That's what he wants. I don't know what's going to happen out there. Don't know what's going to happen to any of us in here. I do know what Jesus wants us to do. He wants us to follow me. Right? Let's remember Jesus.